I was house-sitting for a family friend while they were on vacation. The house wasn't huge, but it was old. Creaky wooden floors, doors that didn't quite close all the way, that kind of place. On my second night there, I went to bed around midnight. I turned off the TV, locked the front door, and checked all the windows before heading to the guest bedroom. I was scrolling on my phone when I heard it. A faint, raspy voice, coming from the floor. It said, "I know you're awake." At first I thought maybe the neighbors were talking outside, but the voice was right below me, muffled like it was coming from under the bed. I froze. The bed was low to the ground, barely any space underneath. Then the voice came again. "You should look down here." I sat up, heart pounding, debating whether to grab my phone or run. I finally decided to turn on the flashlight. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold it steady. I leaned over the side of the bed, shining the light down into the small gap. Nothing. Just dust and an old shoebox. I sat back up, trying to convince myself I imagined it. But then, right at my ear, I heard it a third time, perfectly clear. Too slow. I bolted out of the house barefoot and didn't come back until the owners returned. They told me later that, from last month, their kids complained about hearing someone talking under their beds at night. They'd never believed them. I live in a small ground-floor apartment in a quiet neighborhood. It's not the safest area, but I've been here for 2 years without any real problems. My bedroom window faces the street, but it's usually fine because I keep the blinds closed at night. It was a rainy Friday evening in early October. I had finished dinner and was lying in bed scrolling through my phone when I heard something unusual, a soft tapping sound. At first I thought it was just the rain, but then I realized it wasn't random. It was 3 slow, deliberate knocks on my bedroom window. I froze. My blinds were closed, but I could see the faint shadow of someone standing there. I live alone. No friends were coming over. Nobody should be outside my window at 11 p.m. I didn't move. Maybe if I stayed quiet, they'd leave. But after about 10 seconds, there were 3 more knocks, this time louder. My heart was racing now. I reached over to grab my phone from the nightstand, but before I could dial anyone, a low male voice spoke from outside. "I know you're in there. Open up." I instantly got chills. His tone wasn't angry. It was almost calm, like he was stating a fact. I whispered, "Hello?" Not sure why I even answered. There was a pause, and then he said, "It's too cold out here. Let me in." I shot out of bed, went straight to my living room, and called 911. I told them someone was outside my window trying to get in. While I was on the phone, the knocking started again, but this time it was on my living room window. The dispatcher told me to stay on the line and keep away from the windows. I sat on the floor in the hallway, listening. No more knocks, no footsteps, just the sound of rain. Within about 5 minutes, the police arrived. I watched through the peephole as 2 officers walked around the building with flashlights. One of them knocked on my door and asked me to come outside. They showed me fresh, muddy footprints, starting from the sidewalk and leading right up to both my bedroom and living room windows. The strange part was, the prints didn't lead back to the street. They just stopped under the second window, like the person had vanished. The police stayed for a bit and told me to keep my windows locked. After they left, I went back inside, locked everything, and sat in my bed with the lights on. Just as I was starting to calm down, I got a text from an unknown number. It said, "You should have let me in." I moved out the next week.